Right on. Yeah. All right, well, cool. Yeah, let's just jump into it, I guess.
Cool.
So just starting out, like a general introduction on yourself, like your name and what you do.
Yeah. I'm Parker Andriese. I'm a student here at the University of Utah. Non-traditional. I'm technically a junior, but I've got a lot of school ahead of me. But I'm okay with it because I enjoy it. I'm a student leader here at the Lassonde Institute. This current year, the chair of competitions, the Utah Entrepreneur Challenge, Opportunity Quest, High School Utah Entrepreneur Challenge. And I am an entrepreneur. I own a entertainment business, and I DJ within that business, providing sound and lighting for high school dances, college dances, weddings, birthdays, corporate events, you name it. So that's a little bit of Parker Andriese.
Right on, man. So just as far as like the entertainment and the DJing, how did that all get started?
How did it come to be?
Yeah.
Well, we're going to go, let me see if I can sum this up really quickly. I've always been doing like little side businesses and hustles. Lemonade stand, selling rock, selling gum in middle school. In middle school, 3 years in middle school, 2 years in middle school, 1 year in elementary school, I actually built haunted houses in my basement. Like, it's an unfinished basement.
Dude.
And like a month before October, I'd be down there building walls and props and whatnot. And I loved Halloween. 2 years, as a middle schooler, I grossed over $200 doing it.
Dang.
And that, like, if you have $200,
that's legit, man.
If you have $20
Dude.
in middle school, you have $500 in real life.
All day, man.
So it was cool. I obviously spent a lot more money in it. I didn't understand the concepts, I didn't like profit anything, but I love doing that. And so I had all these Halloween props and stuff. I had a black light, strobe light, fog machine, all this. And come time for my Sweet 16, this is the time when electronic music started becoming really popular, like Dead Mouse,
oh yeah,
Ghosts and stuff, Cinema, Skrillex, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I really got into it. And so I painted all the walls in my basement like white and neon. And bought this really cool light fixture that moved to the music. Got every speaker in the house, got the subwoofers from the cars. Like, we blew that basement up and had a party. And I loved to dance. We had like 80 people there. My mom lost her mind. Why are they grinding in my basement? Like, it was wild. But anyways, that night, my dad's like, Park, what if you turned this into a business? What if you turned partying, having fun into a business? More directly speaking, what if you rented out sound speakers, you set up, you left, they did their event, and you came back the next day? I maximized my income, minimized the time, put it into it. I'm like, that sounds intriguing.
Yeah.
So I thought about it for quite some time, and I was really set on like hosting my own parties. I was going to, did you ever hear about like the Complex or XSI parties?
I think I did. I was probably in middle school at the time.
I bet you may have
yeah,
heard about it, or maybe even gone to something
similar
to it. But there was this local DJ. He put on events all the time. But I tossed around the idea, and I wrote up this business plan at 16 years old, and
Sick.
I presented it to my parents. I saved up $1,000. And they co-signed a loan for my first sound system. And I paid it off, and I learned very quickly that my business plan was not what I was doing. But that's the start of how it all came to be. Sorry, that was very long.
Oh, you're good. That was awesome. That's way sweet. So now, just compared to then, now, how many events are you doing a week or a month or so on average?
On average, it depends. But I would say at least 2 events a week, upwards to 5 events in a week.
Dang.
I don't have a weekend off until November right now, and I'm booking in June 2019 currently. As much as I'd like to stay busy, it is enjoyable to have a weekend evening off.
For sure.
Last Friday, I was doing homework until 12:30 at night. Like, that's what I was doing on my day off. So, it ranges. I think last month in August was my busiest month in 6 years, and I did 20 events that month. So,
dude,
and some are
busy.
Some are big, some are small. Like, sometimes I'm with the radio station and it's just my turntables and me for 2 hours. Or some are an all-day setup with, sound and lights for 2,000 people. It ranges. Yeah.
Sweet. Well, cool. So a big part of my class, we talk about the 5 values in use.
Yes.
So
that's what I'm learning about in my class too.
My computer just shut off, but let's start with.
I might be able to remember them.
I know. I have a hard time doing
value in use, value in finance, value in distribution, value in fitness and balance and exchange.
Yeah, you got it. Okay, so cool. Let's start with.
I just wrote my paper on that.
Oh, okay. Good. That makes it easy then. So value in. Man, it locked me out of here.
Is it too hot or?
Oh, there we go. Okay, so value in use is like how you achieve client satisfaction or what need you fulfill. So I guess going into an event, what are the things that you think of or think about when you're like, okay, how can I make this like a lot of fun, I guess, or how do I cater to their needs?
A lot of that is based off of when a potential client inquires at the very beginning. Yes, there are points in the conversation that I need to hit on to find out more about the event, but in the way that the client communicates in their details or lack thereof regarding details, I can sense how much of Parker is going to be demanded for this event. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, I think so.
I think maybe touching on playlists would be beneficial. So like with my music, I have playlists and sub-playlists and sub-playlists inside those, and I'm consistently like adding to them. And so for an event, I have that organized music, but oh, sorry, they just distracted me over there. They're doing a march or something. Sorry. For events specific, like let's say a wedding, a very elaborate wedding, like I will cater and work with the client to build playlists for background music, for cocktail hour, for the ceremony, for the reception. So that's some of the preparation, but amongst the initial conversation, looping back to it, I can sense how much of Parker is going to be demanded for this particular event. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, yeah, totally.
Yeah, cool.
Okay, sweet. Let's see, next one, value in distribution. So how far, like, say someone in St. George, like, hits you up for an event. Would you work with that, or would you say, like, well, that's a little far for me?
That's a good question. 100% I'll work with them.
Yeah.
Especially if it's going to be a fun event. Fun's described in many ways, but I have yet to be out of the state of Utah. I have DJ'd down in Zions and up in Logan.
Dang.
But I do foresee doing events out of state. Maybe less production, like equipment-wise, but more like DJ live a show, playing a show.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
But kind of touching more on distribution, I don't do a lot of marketing. I don't have a website I used to. All of it, a lot of it's word of mouth. And social media. I do a little bit of marketing and promoting through social media and such, but if a client inquires and the cards line up, like let's have a party.
Make it happen.
So yeah.
Sweet. Cool. And then let's see. Next one's value in finance. So how do you keep everything straight with like money wise?
How do I keep everything straight money wise?
Like, do you just have a spreadsheet and you just drop everything in there, or is it more just like kind of play it by ear, like, okay, I made this much money, I can spend this much money this week? Or
that's a great question.
Because is this like your full-time?
Yes.
You're doing this.
Mm-hmm. It's my full-time job.
So yeah, you got to pay, because I know you have like a car, and then you're also living. So all those expenses can kind of get a little flustery with business. And
I've been blessed and I'm lucky enough. So with my role, so I'm house manager at the fraternity. So it's a role and I have a lot of responsibilities, but I do live there for free. I work for it, but I live there for free.
Sweet.
And then with school, with the Lausanne Institute, it's a very big role to where I work for it, but I receive scholarship that takes care of my school.
Dang.
So this year I'm in a really good position to where I can cover some ground, pay off past student loans, pay off car or this credit card, whatever it is, and get ahead and purchase new equipment and such. I know my expenses that I need to cover, and that is my car insurance, my cell phone. I spend on average like $100-200 a month on music. Gas, that's all business write-offs. Those are like consistent month-to-month payments that I get to write off with my business. And I feel like I'm fairly organized. I don't have like a QuickBooks or anything, but I build my own spreadsheet. With every event, I do build an invoice and a contract. And I book now I'm confidently booking no less than 500 per event, unless it's under smaller minor circumstances. And then I gauge the event price, the final quote, based off of the client's needs, the amount of equipment needed, the time of the event, how long I'm going to be there, the location of the event, down to music specifications. If they're going to give me a list of 100 plus songs and then play this song but end it here and then play this song, like that's time and effort and energy, and it will accumulate. But I feel like I'm getting off track. Every month I accumulate all my income, and then I go through my bank statement and I organize in different categories my expenses, and throughout the end of the year I'm able to evaluate all those expenses per category, percentage wise, and such. But
so yeah, you're pretty organized.
I try
so
to.
You got it together,
I try to stay organized. Sometimes I feel like I'm not organized at all. But like, then you get random stuff like equipment breaks, or like a couple days ago, I renewed my insurance policy. I have a liability insurance up to like $2 million in liability. If something were to happen, someone were to get hurt, I have that for my business. Like it's I'm blanking, but there's a bunch of different expenses that just will come up for whatever reason, and so I seek to have that cushion, so if something does, everything's okay. So
totally.
Yeah. Anyways.
Sweet. Oh yeah, perfect. And then the last one is value in fitness. So kind of just how you plan to evolve as a person, as a business, just what you see for your future, I guess.
Value in fitness.
And I guess, how do you see, like, do you think you'll stay in this, like, line of work? Yeah.
I think I can answer the question a little bit more staying in the line of work. I've actually thought about this for years. Is this something I want to continuously be doing? and it's a no. Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
This specifically, booking 2 to 4 events every week, 5-6 events every week, whatever it is, and going and working for another client, and having a very successful, fun evening, but lugging equipment, communicating details, the itinerary, the music specifics, and quite frankly, being a part of some events that can be very high stress level. You're talking about someone's wedding that's one of the most important events of their day. Yeah. I have the opportunity of being a part of that. By being a part of that, I play a huge factor, not just playing music, but facilitating the evening as the MC and keeping guests entertained and announcing and doing grand entrances. That's a whole other freaking world. But so I thought about being a radio DJ. I thought about being like a resident DJ at a club. I thought about being a producing DJ, making my own music. I thought about hiring other DJs for my business and me only working events I want to work, and they do other events. We do 5 events in one night. I thought about owning my own venue. And out of all that, the event center venue is probably the most intriguing. And I think it could be more along the lines of, you've been to Noah's.
No, yeah, that's what I thought.
You've been to Noah's because I enjoy how Noah's is so universal, and yet it is a little bit of a higher end. So I've considered that, and I've recently pivoted from thinking I'm going to bring on new employees to saying no and closing that door, rather than putting time and energy and effort in training them and communicating with multiple clients for one day and making a fraction of that event. Because to pay a good DJ to do a good job to my standard, I'm going to pay him well.
Oh yeah.
That means I got to charge good, but there's not a good enough percentage there for my peace of mind and sanity.
Yeah.
And so I said no to that happily, and I'm going to go more towards refining my operations in communicating with clients and executing the itinerary, or whatever communication needs to happen from the second they call me to the moment I drive off and park and unload my equipment for the end of the evening. And so I want to refine that and be an expert in that field of an entertainer and a communicator, to where I focus all my energy in myself and my communication business skills, so that I can confidently charge. I'm Parker Andriese, and I am DJ Alive, and I do start at $1,500 for an evening. So rather than putting energy and time elsewhere, I can put it in me, in my business, in my DJing. So that's what I foresee doing. Sorry, that's Mr. Troy. He's the executive director of the institute.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so he's the guy. But anyways, I foresee going in that direction over the next 2 to 3 years. And I have a really cool opportunity growing with the hip hop U92 hip hop station, to where there may be a future pretty good position, not position, but like line of work and opportunity there for me as a content curator and a DJ. And so between school and having fun and making income to do what I want to do, or do what I need to do, it's a great fit. But it doesn't fully align with my passions and excitement. So yes, I am going back to fitness. What I am doing well is that, or what I believe I am doing well in, is that I'm young and I have the ability to be fresh with the music and the crowd and communicate. And we're a large majority of the income that I receive through my business is invested back into new equipment and building the stage presence and the technical presence of the DJing. there's a lot of talking. Did that answer your question?
Dude, no, that is perfect.
Okay,
That's
cool.
Perfect.
Sorry.
Okay, well, yeah. That's pretty much it. I mean,
Okay.
as far as the values. And then just quick to end, I guess.
Yeah.
Any advice for like aspiring entrepreneurs or anything?
I
in that
literally
regard?
asked the same questions last night, and I wrote about them in 2 hours, an hour and a half ago. So it's just funny. My friend who I interviewed, he initially was hesitant to answer the question because he said, no one wants advice unless they seek it out.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. And then I was able to dig deeper and like, yo, you gotta give me something. And one thing that I liked a lot is that, in my personal opinion, to do what you want to do, be an entrepreneur, it means action, like actually going out and making something happen. Yes, like surveys and doing your homework, and not like school homework, but doing your homework and evaluating and testing your target market and all that is important. I'm a firm believer of let's see it. Let's talk more doing. And something that my friend who I interviewed yesterday brought up, which I have to totally agree with, is those skills, those communication skills, those professionalism skills, those team leading skills, those cold call skills, those emailing skills, whatever medium or platform it may be, you won't learn those in a class or by studying them so much, versus just jumping in.
Yeah, you kind of just gotta do it.
Just doing it. I think that's my advice. Oh, my other small bit of advice is, when you do find what genuinely you are genuinely excited about, like this idea, if it's some sort of like fabricating or development, whatever the heck it is, sure, you may not be passionate about like what you're doing, but you're passionate about why you're doing. You get to the bottom of what makes you excited and passionate about it. Keep feeding that fire. Keep fueling that fire, because it's very easy to let something get in the way and cause frustration and for things to slow down. So keep fueling what genuinely like makes you excited and passionate about doing what you're doing, because without it,